Welcome to another Marvel Champions Bling Your Game review by Kennedy Hawk from Marvel Champions Monthly podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the Team Covenant hero boards and token sets. I really like this solution for blinging my game. I think it's really neat and clean, and there's a lot of people in my meta that use the Team Covenant boards and tokens. So we'll talk through them really quickly. Let me get a blank board out here for you. The hero and villain boards are the same. They have 10 token slots to add tokens and a nice slot for your cards. So if I'm starting the game as Kamala Khan, I can give her 10 life. You can also treat these as damage tokens and place them on as she takes damage. Because you can imagine it can be hard to remember whether or not you've added the extra damage for upgrades you play. Like let's say you play Endurance. Well, that gives you plus 3 HP. So you got to remember to add a 1 and 2. Pretty interesting. I really like it. One of my favorite features is that this top row is empty up here, so I can simply slide the card up and down with no problems to flip between hero and alter ego. It has a nice felt back, so it can rotate really easily on a game mat surface, but also just like on a table surface, it doesn't have much problems at all being exhausted, so I really like that. It's got pretty cool looking art on it just generically, very comic booky with the starburst shapes. And just overall really well. So I thought I'd show you how the tokens work. The tokens slot right in there. They make this nice little clicky noise that's very aesthetically pleasing. One of my favorite things, when I need to flip a token, say I take 1 damage as Miss Marvel, if I just flip this token towards the board, it's going to flip it and the 1's going to be facing the right direction. So all the 2s have 1s on the back. Makes a lot of sense. You can flip them right there and they deal their damage. Or healing, same way. There's some other tokens you'll probably use as a hero. So there's a first player token. If you all have boards, you can pass this from player to player to know who the first player is. I tend to organize my tokens on a little tray like this. So I picked this tray up from, I think it was Michael's. It was like $2 or something. So I keep a bunch of hero damage here for when I need to do things. All of these tokens in the top 3 trays here are status conditions. So I can place tough right on my board. I can place stunned right on my board. And I can place confused right on my board. And if I need resource tokens for web shooters or anything like that, I can use those as resources. There's also another one that I carry in my hero tray is the 3 tokens for when you're playing Hawkeye or something. You want 4 tokens out there, so it turns into an acceleration token on the other side. All the tokens are double-sided so that they have significant use on the game, which I really like. One thing that's unfortunate, since there's only 10 slots, if you're playing Iron Man with all of the health upgrades, you will not be able to get to his max. What is it? He starts at 9 plus 7 for his 3 armor pieces. So that's 16. Endurance is 19, and 3 honorary Avengers gets him to 22. So you won't be able to get to 22, but you can always put that last 2 health right on your character itself. Or count up in damage, because when you get to 22, you're defeated. So I really like these for heroes. I think they're pretty easy to pass around the table if somebody needs to see what your board state looks like. And overall, they feel very slick and compact. The organization gets a little cumbersome. Like you can see, I have this this tray right here for all of my hero tokens. I have another tray. This isn't even all of them. I'm still in the middle of sorting for villain tokens. Let's talk about villains for a minute. Villains use the same board. Again, if I had 2 versions of Claw, say this scheme was version 3 of Claw in Expert Mode, I can just pick it up, I can slide it out the top, and the card pretty much stays right where it needs to go. Villains are pretty difficult to track health on sometimes. So let's say Claw, you're playing a 3 or 4 player game, and he's at 53 health, and I deal 4, or let's deal 5 damage to him. I did an uppercut. So I need to go down to 48. That's like a real pain, because this 50, it flips into 100. It stays all nice and neat, but that means I got to replace the 50 with 2 20s. And then I got to add 5 more, but all the damage tokens are 1s, 2s, 10s, 20s, and 50 100s. So to add 5 more damage, I'm going to have to add 2 more 2s and flip a 2. That's a lot of flipping and bookkeeping when you cross those big thresholds. So I've found going from 50 to 40 something is really annoying, and going sometimes from 40 to 30 something, but usually that's just 1 flip and like a couple tokens of adding. Oh, there's one that did not flip to the correct position. And those might actually, those are threat tokens. That's probably why. Hold on. Giving you guys a bad review, and this is a great product. So here are the damage tokens. If I flip those 20s, they'll turn to 10s facing the correct direction. So there's 10s, 50s, 10s, 100s, 2s, 1s. You can use the same status tokens and they make the same beautiful clicky noise, which I really like. But that's one of my pet peeves. I hate going from 51 to 40 something. Our group will even say, let's like wait until Spider-Man can get like a super awesome web kick, or like Repulsor Blast can hit it for 13, so we don't have to deal with as many token flips. We've done that once and it hurt us to the point that we lost, but it wasn't too bad. The other thing you can use these boards for, and I'll even show you, I have more than 2 boards, so I can use these boards for schemes as well, and that's what that last thing just represented. So if I have a scheme out here, there's a bunch of different scheme designs, so you can see here's 2 right here. This one down here is a squad car, and when I flip it over to increase the scheme by 1, it's like a police barricade. This one's like a ticking dynamite time bomb. When I flip it over, it's an explosion. So they're all very like comic panel-y, thematic. I love that. I don't have the Green Goblin ones in front of me, and the Wrecking Crew ones you can't even order yet, but those ones are really cool too. There's like pumpkin bombs and goblin gliders and stuff. So overall, I really like the threat counters too. They, like I showed you earlier, come with those 10s, 20s, so the reasons those didn't flip nice as damage is because they're threat counters, so they flip nice when the board is in a vertical condition. So you're not gonna, well, the boards are fairly expensive compared to most other options. You're probably not going to get 4 boards for if you have 4 side schemes out, so a lot of times I would just, place my side scheme below and put the tokens directly on it. You can get the tokens separately, so you could use just the tokens like you could any other token set. You're still going to end up using, damage tokens to put onto minions and things like that, but overall, though, they provide a pretty unique solution. I really like the ability to pull the cards right in and out, tap, and exhaust these guys. I find that to be very satisfying, to not have to worry about using another card to pry something out or flip it upside down to make the hero fall out. That's a pretty good feature. I definitely recommend these little sorting bins, because if you just keep them in a baggie, you're going to go crazy every time you have to sort them. But if you keep them in the little sorting bins nice and neat, then they work out really well. So I really like how these work out. I'll probably record a game comparing the 2 board sets in a gameplay sometime in the next week, but I am a big fan of the Team Covenant boards and tokens. I do think that they could benefit from, maybe if Zach Bunn's listening, he'll do this, they could benefit from making a villain damage that's like 3-5. They do give you enough tokens. There's like a villain pack that comes with villain health and scheme tokens. They give you enough tokens that you could get to any health value. I think you get 12 of these little, or 6 of these little 2-1s, or 5 of these little 2-1s. So you can get to any health total that's possible in the game right now. Obviously, this is going to be a real big pain when Wrecking Crew comes out, because I'm not going to have 4 villain boards and 4 side scheme boards, so I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do. But overall, we really like them. We don't have enough to play with 4 players, because the cost of these boards is fairly high, but they come with a really quality product. So we usually use these for solo play and for 2-player games, because we have enough boards to support that. When I go to my store, everybody else there has 1 board, so we definitely use them to complete the full table, and it just looks amazing. But overall, I really like them. The tokens came fairly quickly. There's no damage on the tokens. You do have to peel. I don't have an example of one that you have to peel, but you have to peel some paper backing off one side of them. But it was fairly easy to do with minimal problems. So I'm pretty happy with these tokens. I'll probably use them for a long time to come, and I look forward to seeing what other things Team Covenant does with their tokens for this game in the future. If you like this video, check back every Tuesday for the next couple weeks. We'll be doing product reviews for Marvel Champions bling-your-game tokens. So next week we're going to look at the Burger token set, the Marvel Champions Burger tokens, and the week after that we will look at the Daydream Gaming Assemble set of tokens. Thanks for tuning in.